Welcome. You are listening to the Audio Information Network of Colorado. This recording is intended to be used solely by individuals with barriers to print.
Thank you for joining us for audiobook news read from AudioFile magazine. My name is Sarah. Starting with some fiction title reviews today, we have The Memory of Animals by Claire Fuller, read by Genevieve Gaunt. Genevieve Gaunt performs this compelling audiobook about a near-future pandemic. Neffy is one of a few people to take the vaccine and survive. Gaunt portrays her in a vulnerable tone and youthful timbre. Gaunt's crisp English accent works well with this London-based story. The post-apocalyptic plot follows Neffy and 4 other 20-somethings who are surviving in a biofarm facility as they come to terms with the ghastly reality outside their doors. Neffy's story flashes back to the past as she uses a revisiting machine to reconnect with her lover and stepbrother. She also returns to the site of her previous job as a marine biologist, where she so loved an octopus named H that she set it free. This is an engaging and immersive listen. It's available from Audible, 9.75 hours long, unabridged. Trade edition, digital download for $19.95. Every Rising Sun by Jamila Ahmed, read by Sulin Hasso. Sulin Hasso's melodic narration transports listeners to the 12th century Seljuk Empire, Persia, for a sumptuous retelling of 1001 Nights. When the Malik of Kerman discovers that his first wife had betrayed him, he executes her and his next 3 young brides. Scheherazade, the daughter of the Malik's vizier, offers to be his 5th wife, in a desperate attempt to quench the ruler's madness. Hasso skillfully inhabits the voice of a clever yet cautious Scheherazade as she begins to spin tales to occupy the Malik's mind and reclaim his soul. Hasso makes subtle changes to her tone and style to indicate the stories within stories that make up the rich tapestry of this historically grounded production. It's available from Macmillan Audio, 16.25 hours long, unabridged. Trade edition, digital download, ISBN 978-125-090-1101 for $32.99. Onlookers, Stories by Anne Beattie, read by Alison Ryan. Alison Ryan gives a wry, intelligent narration of Beattie's latest collection. The setting of the 6 linked stories is Charlottesville, Virginia, as the city wrestles with the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the aftermath of the 2017 Unite the Right rally. These stories are clear and accessible, but listeners may benefit from a second listen to appreciate their complexity and interconnections. The characters include an actor's girlfriend who is sheltering in place with her boyfriend's father, while the actor remains in Japan, and a substitute professor at the University of Virginia, where there are campus protests over Confederate monuments. Ryan creates varied and distinct portrayals of the large cast, and impressively depicts the ambiance of each setting. Insightful writing and skilled narration create a satisfying listen. It's available from Simon & Schuster Audio, 8.5 hours long, unabridged. Trade edition, digital download, ISBN 978-179-715-5579 for $19.99. The Midnight News by Joe Baker, read by Catherine Manners. Like so many Londoners in 1940, Charlotte is experiencing exhaustion and trauma from nightly bombings by the Nazis and the deaths of people she cares about. 4 of her recently killed friends still exist in her consciousness, comforting, criticizing, advising, and even amusing her on occasion. Narrator Catherine Manners gives each a clear identity. Elle, Charlotte's best friend, has a sweet, bemused voice. Charlotte's co-worker sounds chatty and oddly liberated. Charlotte's actress friend is suitably theatrical, and her godmother shows the signs of a life of dissipation. The story is slow initially, but then Charlotte begins to experience threats that are even more terrifying than the bombings. This is a beautifully told story of love, loss, courage, and resilience. It's available from Random House Audio, 13.5 hours, unabridged. Trade edition, digital download, ISBN 978-059-3740576 for $22.50. Books on Tape has the library edition, digital download, ISBN 978-059 3740583 for $95. Plagues on the Bayou by James Lee Burke, read by MacLeod Andrews, Michael Crouch, Dana Gurrier, Marin Ireland, January Lavoie, Ray Porter, and with an epilogue by James Lee Burke. After award-winning author James Lee Burke delivers his introduction, a series of introspective monologues is brought vividly to life in 6 stellar performances. The setting is Louisiana during the late days of the Civil War. MacLeod Andrews, Michael Crouch, Dana Gurrier, Marin Ireland, January Lavoie, and Ray Porter portray all manner of humanity, including a ragtag collection of Union and rebel soldiers, slave owners and slave catchers, free and enslaved women, and a deranged colonel and his band of marauding Confederate killers. The narrators deliver deeply felt first-person stories that neatly intertwine, and Burke delivers the epilogue. The unique narrations and Burke's poetry weave a dreamscape of beauty, love, hatred, and horror, a reminder of the disastrous results that once arose in a divided nation. Available from Simon & Schuster Audio, 9 hours long, unabridged. Trade edition, digital download, ISBN 978-179-715-9492 for $24.99, also available as CD. And we move on to history and biography titles. The Last Honest Man, the CIA, the FBI, the Mafia, and the Kennedys, and One Senator's Fight to Save Democracy, by James Risen and Thomas Risen, read by Kevin Stillwell. Kevin Stillwell narrates this overdue biographical history like a reporter pursuing the story of a lifetime. His voice informs, his tone reveals, his style illuminates, and his cadence moves the intense action forward. For this is the riveting story of a 1975 Senate committee that unearthed the multiple crimes and misdeeds of our nation's secret agencies, which ranged from assassination plots to wiretaps, from illegal intelligence gathering to listening in on ordinary citizens. Longtime Idaho Senator Frank Church chaired the committee. His courage and tenacity was first displayed nationally when he was an early opponent of the Vietnam War. Ultimately, the Church Committee uncovered and informed the nation about CIA partnerships with the Mafia, FBI extra-legal pursuits, and NSA domestic spying operations. It's available from Hachette Audio, 15 hours long, unabridged. Trade edition, digital download, ISBN 978-166-862-8461 for $27.99. Cleopatra, Her History, Her Myth, by Francine Prose, read by Catherine Fenton. Forget the Cleopatra of myth and movies. Catherine Fenton narrates this audiobook focusing on Cleopatra's considerable abilities as a ruler, rather than her tragic death and purported skill as a seducer. Sources include the writings of ancient historians, including Plutarch. Fenton communicates in a tone of educated authority when enlightening the listener with factual information gleaned from the remains of antiquity. She's equally adept at conveying the author's obvious disdain for the way popular culture has portrayed Cleopatra in film and other media. She's particularly scornful of the 1963 film Cleopatra starring Elizabeth Taylor. In this audiobook, listeners will hear of Cleopatra's famed love affairs, but will also see her as a skilled politician, leader, and city planner. It's available from Yale Press Audio at a length of 6.25 hours unabridged. Trade edition, digital download for $10.34. Hands of Time, A Watchmaker's History, by Rebecca Struthers, read by Anna Pluszyski. Narrator Anna Pluszyski exudes the passion of master watchmaker and author Rebecca Struthers, who expounds upon horology, the study and measurement of time, and the art of making clocks and watches. From water clocks, sundials, and hourglasses to church clocks, from pocket watches to wrist watches, listeners will learn about gear springs and all the things that make watches tick from someone who crafts the devices by hand. Pluszyski's crisp, polished tones are perfect for this history of chronometers from their very beginnings to their uses for organizing work and social time, as scientific instruments, and as essential fashion accessories. After listening to this fascinating history, the listener will never look at a timepiece the same way again. It's available from Harper Audio, 8 hours long, unabridged. Trade edition, digital download, ISBN 006-304-8737 for $27.99. And in contemporary culture titles, let's take a look quickly at Jennifer Ackerman's work, starting with a review of What an Owl Knows, The New Science of the World's Most Enigmatic Birds, by Jennifer Ackerman, read by Jennifer Ackerman. Jennifer Ackerman is clearly enthralled with owls. Every word, written and spoken, embodies her fascination. She takes us on a wide-ranging exploration of their world, the researchers who study them, and even their symbolism. Owl species vary in so many ways, in size, food sources, geography, migration, calls, and just about everything else. Ackerman ensures that the listener is captivated by all of them, with her engaging performance suffused with enthusiasm and wonder. Owls are difficult to study, hard to spot, silent on the wing, and fiercely defensive. One researcher was hit so hard in the head after getting too close that the owl's talon broke off in his scalp. Owls are in trouble, and Ackerman's graceful plea for action and protection is clear. It's available from Penguin Audio, 9.25 hours unabridged. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-059-3681510 for $22.50. Books on tape as a library edition, digital download, ISBN 978-059-3681527 for $85.50. And more listening from Jennifer Ackerman and read by Jennifer Ackerman includes The Birdway, available from Penguin Audio, unabridged, trade edition, digital download, books on tape as a library edition, digital download. Birds by the Shore, available again from Penguin Audio, unabridged, trade edition, digital download, books on tape as the library edition, digital download. The Genius of Birds, read by Margaret Strom, available unabridged from Highbridge Audio, trade edition, CD or digital download. And finally, Ah Choo, The Uncommon Life of Your Common Cold, read by Emily Durante, available unabridged from Tantor Media, trade edition, CD, MP3 or digital download, library edition, digital download. And now for some other contemporary culture titles. Tabula Rasa, Book 1 by John McPhee, read by Grover Gardner. This audio collection of essays and sketches is a marriage of good storytellers. Author John McPhee has the ability to make topics like plate tectonics, commercial shipping, and life under COVID lockdown interesting, as well as informative. Combine that with the mellow voice of Grover Gardner, and you have a work that nearly any listener will enjoy. The audiobook is a collection of McPhee's ideas that never came to fruition as books or magazine articles. Topics such as his mother's autobiography, blind skiers, and lessons in geology. They're interesting and engaging. Gardner slows things down a bit when a passage is technical, such as a description of geomorphology. Otherwise, he carries the work along with an even pace and pleasant voice. It's available from Recorded Books, 6 hours long unabridged. Library edition, digital download, ISBN 978-170-509-7847 for $20.99. Also available as CD or MP3. Wasteland, The Secret World of Waste and the Urgent Search for a Cleaner Future, by Oliver Franklin Wallace, read by Chris Harper. Chris Harper has his work cut out for him in this chilling audiobook about waste around the globe. His challenge is to keep to a reportorial tone amid the horrifying reports of toxic mountains of garbage. He maintains the right pace and cadence as he recounts the author's discoveries, which include an island of plastic 3 times the size of France in the Pacific, corporate mismanagement through misrepresented facts, the idiocy of fast fashion, and other forms of outright crime and widespread greed. Happily, the author's combined journalistic and personal approach is aided by Harper's British coolness. He captures the author's urgent call for change in these profiles, stories, and facts. Franklin Wallace's own behavior includes recycling vehemently and learning to sew. It's available from Hachette Audio, 11 hours long unabridged. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-166-862-6801 for $27.99. Black Holes, The Key to Understanding the Universe, by Brian Cox and Jeff Forshaw, read by Jeff Forshaw. Co-author and narrator Jeff Forshaw says that black holes are the key to understanding the universe. So what are black holes? Answering that question is the goal of this well-organized, well-presented audiobook. While Forshaw's narration benefits greatly from the illustrations in the accompanying PDF, listeners should still expect to move slowly and repeat some chapters. But the time spent is worthwhile, however short one finds oneself of full comprehension. The experience of finding one's mind opening up to a sense of vast time and distance is sublimely restful and fulfilling. Forshaw is an engaging personality whose natural style is enriched by his energy and enthusiasm. It's available from Harper Audio, 7.25 hours unabridged. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-006-293-6721 for $24.99. And moving on now to young adult titles. Give Me a Sign by Anna Sortino, read by Elizabeth Robbins. Narrator Elizabeth Robbins' remarkably youthful voice whisks listeners away to a summer of outdoor adventure and romance as Lila, a teenager with hearing loss, becomes a junior counselor at a camp for deaf and blind kids. Lila is ecstatic to be immersed in deaf culture, even though she is self-conscious about her American Sign Language skills. When a character is using ASL, the sounds of hands moving to form the signs are heard underneath the narrator's voice. Additionally, Lila's hearing loss is often expressed through muffled audio. Robbins creates distinct voices for the older counselors who help Lila find her place in the deaf community. This detailed and thoughtful production is a compelling sensory experience for young listeners. It's available from Listening Library, 8.5 hours long unabridged. Recommended for ages 12 and up. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-059-3682159 for $25. Library edition digital download, ISBN 978-059-3682166 for $63. Girls Like Girls by Hayley Kiyoko, read by Hayley Kiyoko, Natalie Nordis, Malia Piles, Katie Gavin, and Brandon Flynn. This quaint performance by a 5-narrator ensemble will tug at the heartstrings. It explores the budding relationship between Coley and Sonia, who are both learning to accept the beauty to be found in being vulnerable. Coley moves to Oregon after her mother dies and meets Sonia, who is uncertain about how a same-sex relationship will change her. Both girls stumble through expressing their feelings and learn how to cope in various ways. The narration is calm yet raw, a style well suited to the story. Certain dialogue exchanges between narrators add depth. While Coley and Sonia are portrayed as uncertain of their paths, they both grow into confident young women who are deserving of love and respect. It's available from Macmillan Audio, 8.5 hours long unabridged, recommended for ages 14 and up. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-125-0899279 for $19.99. You, the Story, A Writer's Guide to Craft Through Memory, by Ruta Sepetys, read by Ruta Sepetys. Acclaimed writer Ruta Sepetys exudes an infectious positivity as she uses her own experiences to illustrate the craft of writing, from research to conception to revision. In an upbeat, conversational tone, she encourages listeners to plumb their own lives for writing inspiration. Sepetys shares personal anecdotes, both humorous and profound, to demonstrate how life experiences are fodder for plot, character development, voice, perspective, setting, and dialogue. You may want to take notes or grab a print copy to work on her many prompts, but it is the audio version that will inspire you. If you're a writer or want to be, listen up. Ruta Sepetys believes in you. It's available from Listening Library, 4.75 hours unabridged. Recommended for ages 12 and up. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-059-3681756 for $15. Library edition digital download, ISBN 059-368-1763 for $38. A Song of Salvation by Alicia Dow, read by Janice Abbott-Pratt, Andre Santana, and Logan Rosas. Narrators Janice Abbott-Pratt, Andre Santana, and Logan Rosas deliver outstanding performances that magnify this sci-fi series' epic finale. As the narrators lead listeners across the galaxy, Zyra, a reincarnated god, leaves her home to defeat a great evil. Abbott-Pratt portrays Zyra with a youthful, bold voice. Accompanying Zyra is Wesley, an expert pilot who is charged with bringing renowned podcaster Ruben Rima to Earth. Santana's voice periodically loses its confident tone, making it an ideal fit for the young pilot who is unsure of his place in the galaxy. Ruben's podcast is interspersed throughout the audio by Rosas, whose over-the-top narration style perfectly reflects Rubens's colorful personality. Listeners will be captivated as this trio of narrators brings this rambunctious space opera to a pulse-pounding close. It's available from Harlequin Audio, 10.25 hours unabridged. Recommended for ages 12 and up. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-148-822-7523 for $27.99. Invisible Sun by Kim Johnson, read by Guy Lockhart and Kim Johnson. Guy Lockhart depicts 17-year-old Andre Jackson of Portland, Oregon, who is returning home after 2 months in juvenile detention for a robbery he didn't commit. Lockhart depicts Andre's moods, his smouldering feelings for Sierra, the girl who lives in foster care next door, and his confusion about why his friend Eric let him take the rap for the theft. Lockhart intensifies Andre's feelings when COVID-19 robs him of his beloved grandfather. The death of George Floyd places him and others in jeopardy, and his suspicions about Eric mount. The authenticity of her writing and Lockhart's narration reveal a character who speaks truth to power during the tumultuous personal and political events of 2020. Johnson delivers the afterword, which adds background on the issues and setting. It's available from Listening Library, 10 hours long, unabridged. Recommended for ages 14 and up. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-059-3609439 for $27.50. Library edition digital download, ISBN 978-059-3609446 for $69. Promise Boys by Nick Brooks, read by Rainier Cortez, Christopher Hampton, Alfred Vines, and a full cast. Skilled vocal performances from more than a dozen narrators immerse listeners in a schoolyard murder mystery involving race, wealth, and power. When the dictatorial principal of the All Boys Promise Preparatory School is shot, 3 students are pegged for the murder. But JB, Trey, and Ramon are innocent and determined to prove it. With the help of JB's girlfriend, a future lawyer, and Ramon's family, several secrets that exist within Promise's halls are uncovered. While the 3 core narrators, Alfred Vines, Christopher Hampton, and Rainier Cortez, each bring emotion and depth to Boys on the Brink, the ensemble works together to fully draw listeners into the story's tense atmosphere. It's available from Macmillan Audio, 6.5 hours long, unabridged. Recommended for ages 12 and up. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-125-0877253 for $19.99. And that's it for me for today. Thank you for joining us for Audiobook News. My name is Sarah.
You are listening to the Audio Information Network of Colorado.
Attention listeners, today is Colorado Gives Day. Help us reach our $15,000 goal by visiting www.aincolorado.org. Thank you for your continued listenership and support. Happy holidays.
Welcome to this meditation moment. I'd like to invite you to take a moment to tune into your body and look for any areas where you might find any tension. And let's look for areas that you might be able to relax bit by bit. So as you sit here with me, imagine that each breath allows some of this tension to leave your body, and that each time you inhale, you're bringing in this calming, soothing energy, so that each exhale can release that tension. And you can imagine this being kind of a progressive thing, like taking one step down at a time, that with each breath you feel just a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more comfortable in your own body. And as you do this, you might notice that the areas of tension seem to shift. And so allow your focus on releasing the tension to shift with it. You could also imagine that the tension in your body is slowly melting into the earth. You're able to use whatever visualization resonates with you, whatever is the most effective for you. Let's tune into the breath for a moment. How does your breath feel right now? You don't need to try to change it. You're simply paying attention to it. Does your breath feel like it's a little bit tight, maybe up in your upper chest? Does it feel constricted, or does it feel like it's a very comfortable, deep type of breathing, like belly breathing? Then let's take a moment to release some of the tension that we might be holding in our shoulders, across our chest. And if you're already belly breathing, then continue to, but if you're feeling a little bit more constricted, try and bring that breath down to a slightly calmer, lower place. Often when we're feeling tension, our breath will go further up into our chest and further away from our belly. This can often be one of the first indicators that we're feeling tension, that we're feeling stress in our lives, not just in our bodies. So take a few more breaths, trying to relax any muscles that get in the way of taking deep and comfortable breaths. And let's tune back in to any tension in other areas of the body. Are you feeling any tension in your legs? Are you tensing up any muscles in your back? As you go through and find any areas, try and relax those muscles gently. You might need to shift a little in your seat, move a little bit, to allow those muscles to relax. And as you shift, notice if the tension in your body has shifted. Is it lower than it was when we started? And as you notice what has happened during this little period of time, pay attention to what works for you, what's effective for you, so that you can use that anytime. Thank you for joining me.